Good morning and welcome to all of you. We have a few folks who are still on their way here this morning, but we're going to go ahead and get started out of respect for your time this morning. Welcome to all of you. We're so happy to see you here at the Neighborhood Innovation Center. My name is Kaya Offiero, and I'm the co-founder here of the Neighborhood Innovation Center, along with my spousal unit, John Chen, whom you will be hearing from shortly this morning. I'd like to welcome you all to our nascent building here, which is going to be getting some improvements, more improvements. We've done very little really to the structure itself, but we're so excited to be doing some more shortly and hopefully to be announcing additional improvements in the near future. We'll be hearing from a number of folks this morning, but thank you for your attendance and your attention. And right now I'd like to welcome Bridget Flood this morning, who is the Executive Director of the Incarnate Word Foundation, and she will launch our presentations this morning. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with all of us today. This is a very exciting day down here in Dutchtown, and the Incarnate Word Foundation and our sisters, the Sisters of Charity of the Incarnate Word, are committed to working with people who are down here in Dutchtown on the ground every day, making a wonderful neighborhood even better. And I am very, very happy to announce that we're the recipient of some funding from the state of Missouri. There'll be a little bit more about that later. But we're the recipient of over $100,000 from the state, which we will be giving in its entirety to the Employment Connection to work with the Dutchtown Community Partnership that is serving youth in our neighborhood down here. In addition to that, the Incarnate Word Foundation will be providing $75,000, and the Greater St. Louis Community Foundation, Nikki Martinez is here from the foundation this morning, will be providing $10,000. So we're off to a great start. I'm going to let Sal Martinez talk more about the project rather than go through the details of it myself, but I just want to say that this is a very hopeful day in Dutchtown. We are so blessed with such a high concentration of young people, and they are the future leaders of St. Louis, and we want to make sure that they have everything they need to succeed, thrive, and grow. So thank you very much. Sal?
Thank you very much, Bridget. Good morning. I appreciate that introduction. I have been looking forward to this morning for several months, as we have been consistently working with our partners in Dutchtown to bring additional resources to the community since we first moved into the Neighborhood Innovation Center in the fall of 2020. Remember that, John Chen? Employment Connection has been serving the St. Louis community for over 4 decades, and when I was first appointed CEO in the fall of 2018, I asked staff to tell me what neighborhoods in the city yielded our greatest clients. I was pleased to learn then, and I'm happy to say now, that the residents of Dutchtown, Graveway Park, and the Mount Pleasant neighborhoods have actively engaged our agency for several years. In early 2020, I learned of a program called Cure Violence when I was in discussion with local leaders about violence prevention programming. EC and I, prior to my arrival, had been involved in creating public safety programs for many years, and so I felt very comfortable when we submitted our proposal to try to manage the 3 pilot sites that the city committed to. Luckily, Employment Connection was selected to manage 2 of the 3 Cure Violence sites, one here in Dutchtown, our Cure Violence office is in the basement here, and the other site in Wells Goodfellow, Hamilton Heights. And we have hired a team of passionate individuals who put themselves in danger every day as we work to make this community a safer place to live, work, and play. It did not take long for our Cure Violence team and I to learn that the program would be extremely challenging, however. One of those challenges is that individuals who are younger than what Cure Violence Global teaches us as high-risk clients are younger than the ages of 16 to 25 years old. Again, that's the core group that Cure Violence Global teaches us to focus on. And so we have understood that too many youngsters are participating in violent behaviors, and obviously I think we all agree that too many young lives have been lost. As such, I was brought into some ongoing conversations that included the Incarnate Word Foundation. Thank you for inviting me to that table, Bridget Flood, and my new cousin, Mike Fitzgerald. Where's Mike Fitzgerald? Mike is like the cousin you just can't get rid of. There he is. I love you, Mike. Thomas Dunn Learning Center. Thank you to my old friend Paula Gertner, their executive director. I saw Paula here somewhere. There she is. Good to see you, Paula. And Jean Slade's Girls and Boys Club. Thanks, Bob Purcelli and your staff. There's Bob. And many others, as we discussed what we as a coalition could do to address these younger people. And that's why we're here today to celebrate what our wonderful elected officials, who we're here from, have done to show for their support for this initiative, which we have all called DOCY, the Dutchtown Opportunity Coalition for Youth. I realize that I'm not the MC today, but I do want to acknowledge a few people who have worked tirelessly with me and my team to strengthen our work in Dutchtown. First of all, I got to thank my wife, Allison Martinez, who's not here today. She's working. When I first started dating Allison, she lived in Dutchtown, the 5,000 block of Alabama. And I remember hanging out at Bierman's, Caruso's, Urban Eats, Feasting Fox, and even Chimichangas back in those days. And then when I introduced her to my brother, the wonderful alderman of the 25th Ward, Shane Cone, we also started going to a famous holiday party that is hosted by Kaya and John. Anissa McCaskill, also thank you. We have engaged the Dutchtown South Community Corporation to assist us in community programming since we were selected to operate the Cure Violence program. Your team has done a great job in this regard, and we look forward to growing our partnership even further in the coming months. I also want to thank Alderwoman Ann Schweitzer, Alderwoman Kara Spencer, and Alderman Dan Gunther, who have been extremely supportive and helpful to me and my team at Employment Connection as we have worked in the community. I certainly want to thank the Dutchtown, Grabway Park, and Mount Pleasant residents, businesses, and service providers for being so supportive of Employment Connection and Cure Violence. I know we see a number of residents here. I see Nate, I see Chip, I see Lindsay, Nick. Love you guys. You've been wonderful, and we're going to grow this partnership moving forward. I certainly want to also thank Dutchtown Main Street and the Dutchtown SID, who have given us an opportunity to put together a neighborhood beautification team that works 5 days a week in the Dutchtown neighborhood. And certainly, again, our Cure Violence team, again. They risk their lives every day. They're very passionate. Most of them live in the Dutchtown community as they do this work. I certainly have to thank City of St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones, Dr. Motti, the Director of the Health Department, my good buddy Will Pinckney. What's happening, Will? Will's here with me today. And Dr. Eccles. Funny how life works. When we started off this program, he was the Director of the Health Department. Now he's CEO of Cure Violence Global. And so we are continuing this work together. So happy to be here. Employment Connection is here to stay. Thanks to all our partners. We look forward to growing additional partnerships as we move forward. And thank you so much to our state representatives and our partners who've allowed us to do this work. God bless all of you. John Chance.
Thank you. Thank you, Sal. We're so excited to see Employment Connection and a part of the Dutchtown ecosystem of community building. And I would like to talk about our inclusive economic development. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank Representative Steve Butz and Representative of Rasheen Aldridge Jr. and the State of Missouri and Governor Parson to award Neighborhood Innovation Center this small but mighty grant. To the Neighborhood Innovation Center, I want to thank Incarnate Word Foundation to allow us this opportunity, organize this press conference and tell our stories. And many thanks to our Dutchtown ecosystem partners, countless volunteers, many of them are here, and especially Dutchtown Main Streets and the Missouri Main Street Connections, that's MMSC, for getting us here today. This opera grant is a milestone for Dutchtown community and all of our ecosystem partners. It allowed us to pursue our collective vision to transform this physical space at 3207 Meramec into the hub for community engagement, as well as the outdoor market for the micro entrepreneurs in Dutchtown, in the heart of Dutchtown Main Street. Neighborhood Innovation Center was created in 2019, and to activate this vacant bank branch by Midwest Bank Center closed about 4 years ago, and turn it into a neighborhood co-working space. We literally move in on the eve of COVID-19 global pandemic.
So exciting.
And so the plan was stalled, as you all know. But in the summer of 2020, with the help of Missouri Main Street Connection and our partner Dutchtown Main Streets, at the time known as Downtown Dutchtown, DT2, which is, by the way, is the first urban Main pilot in the state of Missouri. Dutchtown Main Street is our first pilot in the state of Missouri. And at the time, in the summer 2020, with their help, we quickly apply for a resiliency grant, very small, to conceive the concept of the NIC, we call it Neighborhood Innovation Center, NIC parking lot transformation. The ARPA grant today awarded to Dutchtown allow us to follow through on that vision, to transform the physical space into a hub of community engagement and the outdoor market for entrepreneurs of Dutchtown. Today, the Neighborhood Innovation Center is the home to Dutchtown Main Streets, Dutchtown Community Improvement District, and the Cure Violence Dutchtown headquarters. And we also have a growing ecosystem of partners joining us. We all of our ecosystem partners share this principle of inclusive economic development and the power of entrepreneurship in the underserved community like Dutchtown. We are all actively experimenting, practicing, and building solutions on the streets of Dutchtown. Speaking of building solutions, I'm pleased to announce the launch of our micro business incubator, MBI, in Dutchtown. MBI is a two-part, four-stage incubator program that provides a safe environment to home-based businesses, makers, solopreneurs, and side hustlers to develop and grow their business from idea to revenue of $50,000 in 12 months. MBI is growing out of our past 15 years working with alongside of small businesses, and in addition to a small businesses ourselves. I'm a small business owner in South City, and especially the past 2.5 years, the hands-on experience to support micro businesses in Dutchtown during this most difficult time. We also learn from the innovation community across the region, across the globe, including the Cortex and innovation community, and to bring this innovation community at a neighborhood level. We really believe there gotta be a better way to build our neighborhood businesses, thriving neighborhood businesses and neighborhood district that has an opportunity for all. MBI, the Micro Business Incubator, also incorporating micro learning, artificial intelligence, and network of professional volunteers. This launch will elevate our entrepreneurial support to a new level, and as long as with the partner support from Dutchtown Main Streets and Missouri Main Street Connection. Please help us to share this wonderful news and broadcast this new launch of Micro Business Incubator in Dutchtown. Thank you for coming.
Good morning, one and all. It's great to see so many partners, friends, neighbors, community leaders gathering to celebrate some good news. My name's Steve Butz. I'm the state representative serving in the 81st District, of which you are sitting in currently, and a longtime South St. Louisan. My wife Angie and I started our married life at the 4300 block of Compton, and long before there was an Urban Eats or this was ever a bank, as a little kid, I'm learning how to swim at Marquette, and I'm roller skating over in St. Anthony's gym. These were standard stuff that kids from the South Side did for decades. So with the risk of sounding like the old guy, I want to look towards the future right now because we don't need to reminisce on my childhood, but rather on other people's childhood and their teen years right now. You know, we have that saying, some people are just slipping through the cracks. I think we could say some people are free falling through chasms. It's not just slipping through the cracks. In the Dutchtown area, which has changed dramatically over the years, as do many places, when you have a challenge of a high concentration of at-need youth, keeping these kids in school, providing a safe and fun place for them to play and exercise and meet their friends, something that, you know, my generation, some of us took for granted, but these kids can't. A dream is born, but without hard work and the dreamers, nothing gets accomplished. So we're going to celebrate this nice, great step and accomplishment today. About 6 months ago, and I'm thrilled to announce how I was involved in this. So when you are a state rep or any local elected official, or you're involved in your local community organizations, I know Sal, Bridget, many others, Bob, I work and work. Sometimes late at night I say, am I really making a difference? I mean, did I move the needle today? Well, maybe today you didn't move the needle, but overall, if enough people want to move the needle's going to move. We have to believe in that. So Fitz over back there and Bridget said, could we take you out for a beer? Which, in case there's any ethics people, I paid for the beers. And we were going to meet at the Haven, and it was locked, closed, whatever that day, so we went to Cyberg's, right? So, and they pitched me this idea that just said, we're kind of looking for a grant that would help an outreach program for at-risk, I say youth, but it's kind of older youth, right? Not 7 and 8 year olds, but maybe 11 to 15, 16, 17, kids that you gotta catch, they gotta stay in school, they gotta believe that there's a future for themselves. So they gave me a plan. So it started with 2 people that weren't just dreamers, but doers, and it was a real concrete plan. And I said, I've got a couple of really good buddies in Jeff City who are actually in the room where it happens, just to quote something from Hamilton. So I had this budget and this plan printed out, thankfully. I read it carefully, and I bought it hook, line, and sinker. And I took it to Rasheen and Lakeisha, who sit right by me on the floor. And Rasheen believed in it from the first time I showed it to him. He's on the budget committee. It takes people in the budget committee. Then I went over to Senator May's office. The senator and her chief of staff are 2 of my best friends in the Capitol. They believed in it. They bought in it, hook, line, and sinker. So at least the elected officials at the state level could have the impact that was needed to procure this funding. And then, of course, it gets in a bill, but you think, well, it might die somewhere in a committee. It might get stripped out in another committee. And until the governor signs it, it ain't a real deal. It could die. And we have, and I want to give a shout out to a person you will never hear from. Her name is Casey Milberg. She works for the Democratic Caucus in Jeff City. She is our budget tax guru lady. I went to Casey early on and I said, I know it's not this huge amount of money, but I know the people that are going to use this money. I vouch for them personally. This money will have an immediate impact and a lasting impact in the Dutchtown neighborhood, and she lives nowhere near St. Louis. You won't understand the Dutchtown neighborhood, but it's a neighborhood that's at a crossroads, and we want it to go the right direction. So Casey has kept me up to speed right up until, Steve, for sure, it's signed, nothing's going to get stripped out. So I thank her. I thank all the dreamers, the workers, and the doers in this room. I'm humbled just to be a little part of it, and to the betterment of our city, the healing of our city, and especially good things to happen for our youth. Let's hope and pray and work that happens. So thank you one and all very much.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. So glad to be here today. First off, I want to thank so many friends and partners that made this, as I'll continue to say, continuation of work happen, because this isn't the start nor is this the end. I want to thank the foundation, I want to thank EC, and I want to thank so many residents that continue to believe and the message that these beautiful yard signs that we see all across Dutchtown strong. I'm gonna go a little bit into how all of this came into play. Like Steve said, it's a huge honor to serve as a representative of the 78th District, which me and Steve share part of Dutchtown. And it's also an honor to be on the budget committee. Sometimes I ask if this was a true thing that I asked to be on, because at the same time, it's also a huge headache. Soon as we enter the session, as Senator May know, who have served on budget, I believe in both sides, in the House and in the Senate, and continue to serve on there. Soon session kicks off in January, budget committee meets, and we really don't quit meeting to April, leading all the way up to the end of May, because we have to make sure, like Representative Butz said, a lot of items that we put into the budget for so many good organizations and so many different institutions that's doing the work actually get across the finish line, because either the governor can veto them, or you may have some haters that be like, I don't know if this is a lot, or this money should be used to be going to St. Louis. I can tell you, we don't have too many friends in the rural area that like the great work that we're doing in St. Louis. So it's always an ongoing, continuous work to ensure that our residents, especially in communities like Dutchtown, gets the most resources that they need. So Representative Butz brought to me an idea on the floor, and Representative Bosley, like he said, of some funds for Dutchtown. Some funds that would be able to help young people and to help a community that is struggling, but like I say, there's beauty in the struggle, as we say in the protest. And it was a no-brainer for me. You know, being the state rep over the last 3 years of this area, many other areas that look like Dutchtown, I understand the importance of making sure that we reinvest, especially in communities that have not been invested in. Our mayor said a lot, you know, we need to make sure that we invest in communities that we kind of forgot about. And Dutchtown is one of those communities. You know, sometimes in the city of St. Louis, when we talk about crime and we talk about issues and we talk about lack of opportunity for our young people, we like to point north. But we also forget, you know, there's communities north and south that share the same common goals of just not being invested in. And when you continue not to invest in communities that are so beautiful like Dutchtown, sometimes you get a little bit of issue. But it's been so great to see, like I said, as just state representative, over the last 3 years, the great work that Dutchtown has been doing to show how resilient, beautiful, and great this community is. So when Steve Butz brought me the opportunity, I was like, 100-some-thousand? Oh, heck yeah. There's so much ARPA money, there's so much funds out there. The state has had, right now, we currently have more money than we ever have. As Senator May know, in other years, it's almost like trying to turn a turnip and try to get blood out of it, because they're so tight on the funds. But this year, there's been so much money. And when Butz brought it to me, it was in the wee hour. We got past the committee of budget. But I said, absolutely, I'm going to do whatever possible that I can do, because I know the great work that Dutchtown is doing. I know the great work of the people of Dutchtown is doing to continue to bring that strength, as the yard signs say, of Dutchtown strong. So Steve brought it to me as we was able to secure it in the budget. One of my champions in the Senate, and always continue to lean on her, is Senator May, and brought it to her and was like, hey, it's a small amount of money, but it's a very important amount of money that can go to an organization that's doing good work. And she did the work over in the Senate side to make sure that it didn't get ripped out and stripped out. So today I'm just glad to be part of a team that continues to work, all of you guys here, that continue to work to ensure that neighborhoods like Dutchtown, again, that haven't been invested in, that sometimes get overlooked, is not being overlooked today. And this is not the end, but this is a continuation of great work, and also uplifting our youth. Being somebody who's 28 years old, I'm not that far of calling myself a youth. I feel like I can still say it. I know how important it is to make sure that we look back, we grab our young folks, and let them know that we believe in them, we let them know that we love them, and we let them know that we're going to work together. So thank you all for allowing me to be part of this. I look forward to not just this year, being a member of the budget committee, hopefully next year, figuring out how we can get a little bit more of the organization needed, because again, when I think about investing in different groups as a budget member, I always think about the groups that are doing the work and the groups that need the help the most. So thank you all for allowing me to be here today. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I am so excited to be here as well. And I want to thank, the opportunity, Representative Butz, Representative Aldridge, for all that they do It takes teams and partnerships because you can't do it alone. And I think when our communities are lacking or suffering, we need to come together. This is what we call loving our city together. Loving our city. Every part, every corner, we have to develop it and make it the best place and space and safe place and space for everybody. So I'm definitely excited about the money. I want to thank all that are involved, the foundation. I saw the Main Street over there as well, because we're doing that on the other side too, along Delmar, and I'm excited about that because it brings communities together and talks about conversations, and I've never seen so many people come out to have a conversation about how to save their community and how to transform their community. So I'm excited about this transformation. And yes, the budget process is a difficult process. It takes up most of the legislative time that you're at the Capitol. And it can be tedious, and it's a lot of fighting that goes back and forth. I won't say fighting, I'll say conversations that go back and forth in reference to the importance. And it's important to like Representative Butz said too, to let people understand your community and what you value in your community. You have to paint a picture so that all of those other people will support your idea, will support what you're trying to do. And it takes 18 votes to pass anything in the Senate. And in the House, it takes 82 votes to pass anything. So no matter what you get, you still have to build relationships all around. You can't just stop with us. We had to get on the ground and work and paint this vision for everybody else so that they can see. And so I just appreciate, this community, and I value the fact that you've come together to make a transformational change in your community, and I'm happy to partner with you anytime. I love change, and I love making communities safe, and I love making them where people, I want it to be just like it was when I grew up. I remember I was able to go outside and just jump rope all day, play double dutch all day, didn't have to worry about anything. I felt safe in that space. That's what we got to get back to. And I'm excited to partner with you to do that. I also want to tell you about some other opportunities while I'm standing up here, because if we got 16 state departments. And so a lot of the funding we put in departments in what we call buckets. Right now, the applications went online July the 1st. So if you have other community projects, you might want to go online and look at DNR for that deals with all of the environmental stuff. You might want to go online and look at the Department of Economic Development as well, because they also have grants. These are grants. So they put the money in buckets in order for you to apply for the grants. So you got to go online. The qualifications are there. Just look under ARPA funding over those 16 state departments and see if any other project you have qualifies for that grant, and you can get that grant. So I just wanted to leave that on the table as well. And like I said, I appreciate working with all of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And also I want to say thank you, good friend, Sal. That's right. All right.
So, good morning. My name is Anissa McCaskill. Some of you know me, some of you don't, so I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Annissa McCaskill. I am Executive Director of Dutchtown South Community Corporation. We cover Marine Villa, Mount Pleasant, Gravois Park, and Dutchtown. And typically, depending on where I stand, I can see my office. We're right there on the corner of Virginia and Meramec. A couple of things to talk about today. First of all, we were part of some initial discussions to bring the DOCY program to Dutchtown. We are partners, proud partners of Cure Violence. We have been an engagement arm for them, and we have seen the work and the documentable proof that what they do and how they touch young people is effective and needed, not just in the areas where it's being piloted. But we also recognize that there are a whole nother subset of youth that they were not able to reach. So with this funding, we see that we are covering a larger group of young people, and we're encouraging the fact that they will not become victims or possibly perpetrators of crime. We're stopping at that level. There's more work to be done. Some could say this is the beginning, others will say it's a continuation, but what we say is it's necessary. We are the stewards of what is called the Gravois Jefferson Historic Neighborhoods Plan, which if you are a part of this community, you will see the The NIC is a fulfillment of that. The work of Cure Violence is a fulfillment of that. It is now the benchmark document that the city of St. Louis is encouraging other neighborhoods to use in order to create neighborhood plans. But if there is a plan, there has to be implementation. So this funding is the beginning and a continuation of the implementation of that plan and others in the city of St. Louis. We are beginning and founding members of the NIC. We utilize the space. We have a very small staff, which means we have a very small working space. When we want to have community meetings, because we are a community organization, we rely on the NIC. So we are grateful and we are thankful for the opportunity for them to receive this funding, but we also know, again, this is just the beginning. So John and Kaya, we stand with you and say, we need places like the NIC to bridge the gaps for entrepreneurship, the digital divide, and just economic development and social justice, because a lot of people in this area are struggling just to even have the infrastructure and the internet access, and to have a place where they can come in and do a job interview, do a resume, start their business without worrying about having the space to do so is critical and crucial. So we thank the Incarnate Word Foundation for the work that they do in partnering with organizations such as myself, such as Employment Connection, Dutchtown Main Streets. All of the people who are in this room have benefited in one way or the other of the Incarnate Word Foundation. And so we thank you, and we thank the legislative team for fighting for us and recognizing the need, and to continue to recognize that this is not a beginning, it's a continuation, and the work continues. So thank you.
Well, I think that will conclude the press conference. So happy. I want to thank Incarnate Word Foundation. They sponsored the food, so when we leave, we want to make sure that all the food is eaten. The tea, the coffee, water is also consumed. We appreciate all of you being here. Continue to stay engaged with the community. Dutchtown is on the move. The development, the investment, the commitment that the residents and stakeholders have shown has just been unbelievable. But again, this is a continuation of further great things that will happen. So again, good to see you. God bless you. Have a great day.